So, namaste and good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning, Manuda. Hope you are well.
Yes, I'm very well. You?
Yes, me too. Thank you.
Great.
We will start with the session. I hope the whiteboard is visible as well.
Yes.
Okay. We will start with the session. First, I will chant one opening prayer and one Om. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much. What have you studied yesterday?
We have studied the skeletal system.
Okay, so we have started with the skeletal system and we have already seen the number of bones, what is exactly a bone made up of, and also we have just started with the axial skeletal system. That means the bones which are present in one axis of the body, and we have seen the couple of bones in our cranium, that is our skull, and the couple of bones in our ears. Those are known as auditory ossicles. Am I right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So how many bones will be present here in the body total?
206.
Yes. And how many bones we have seen up till now?
Sorry, can you repeat?
How many bones have we seen up till now or studied?
Only the head bones, right?
Only the head bones. That means in our cranium, we have seen the 8 number of bones, and in our ears, 6. So total?
Yes. 8 plus 6, yes, 14.
Yeah. 8 plus 6, we have seen 14 bones. So the first it was the cranium, then the ears. Now we will see about the facial skeleton. Okay. So here in the facial skeleton today, the first one, just to let you know, approximately there are 14 bones in the facial skeleton. How many? 14, 1/4 number of bones in our facial skeleton. In this facial skeleton, we have a bone where our eyes are or inside or towards the medial side of our eyes. So like inside region of eye, I will write that name of the bone is known as lacrimal first. I will write down this. We have 2 lacrimal bones. These lacrimal bones, today I will not draw any diagram, will draw the less diagrammatic representation. I will give it to you. Okay, so these are the lacrimal bones. Where do you find these lacrimal bones? I will just demonstrate. Here, if you will see, like the tear bones. So inside of the eyes here, if I am pointing out with my index finger, if you will press it over here, there are some tear bones, so small, tiny bones at the side of our nose and towards our eyes in the center. These are the tear bones which contains our nerves, and these nerves help to stimulate these tears from the eyes. So these are your tear bones that are known as lacrimal tear bones, I will write. which may help to produce the tears. We do also have the cheekbones. So your cheekbones are known as zygomatic. How many zygomatic bones will be there? You have two. Yes. So these two cheekbones, if you will see over here at your face, then you will get it. The two cheekbones, that bones are known as the zygomatic bones. Similarly, we do have one bone that is the part of your upper jaw. So upper jaw, these bones are also two. These are known as maxilla. So I will write down here the simple term and the anatomical term of the bone. So when we say the upper jaw means above our lip. So here at the border of our lip, so whatever is present upper from the center of the lips, what is above the present and below our nose. Here, just below the zygomatic bone, if you will see here, you will find a separate line and you will see the upper jaw separated from the zygomatic bone. That bone at two sides is known as maxilla. Okay, up till here. The concept is clear up till here. What are lacrimals? What are zygomatic? What is maxilla?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have one more bone that is known as in between upper jaw and cheekbones. That bone is known as flattening bone. These flattening bones not show here in between from inside. It is located in towards the back side it goes. So these are the flattening bones which are being present in between maxilla and zygomatic as well in a small cavity. These are in between the upper jaw and the cheekbones as well, the flattening bone. We do have these two types of flattening bones. And then we will figure it out. The next bone, that is the lower jaw. But if I would like to write the lower jaw, I will be writing this with the red marker because our lower jaw is known as the mandible bone and it is the only movable bone in our head section. So this is our head section, all this. So we are watching now the facial from the head section. And the lower jaw from the head section is the only movable bone. That means the mandible bone, while I am speaking at the moment, I am only moving my lower jaw. The rest of all these bones, if you will see, are not moving at all. They are all fixed with other bones. So they are fixed with the joints with the other bones. Only the mandible is what? The moving. So there is one single mandible bone we do have. There are not two separate bones like upper jaw, one maxilla, other maxilla. Mandible is one single bone, not two bones makes one mandible. Just one bone not connected to the fixed bones. Okay, up till here?
Yep.
Okay. So we have 14 bones. Up till now, what we have seen here, how many we have seen? We have 14 bones in the facial skeletal. So 2 lacrimal, 2 cheekbones, zygomatic, 2 maxilla, 2 platin, and 1 mandible. So there are just 9 bones we have seen up till now over here. Now, I will erase this out. I hope you have written down these things. So I will write the next bones from the facial skeleton over here. Then the next number, I do forgot the number here, but I will make a star. The next bone in our nose, we have 4 different bones. So there are 2 nasal bones, we can say, on each side, and there are 2 nasal concha bone or inferal nasal concha bone. Along with that, there is one center bone in our nose. So this is our nose section. That center bone in our nose at the center is known as vomer. Known to be as vomer. Vomer is one single bone here. So there are 2 nasal bones. If you will see it and place it your fingers on that, these 2 nasal bones. At the center, one single bone. That center section of the one single bone is known as vomer. And we have 2 inferal nasal concha. So at the inferior side, at the bottom of the nose, inside, inferior and to the posterior region means at below, and at the back side of the nose, there are 2 bones which goes behind, which we cannot show, or I cannot demonstrate or show you. Only we can see these bones if we have a skeletal with us. So like a skeletal, if we would have or I would have had with me, I could have showed these inferal nasal concha bones. So in between these inferal nasal concha bones, actually, if I will tell you what happens, so in between the region, in between the space created in between inferal nasal concha and nasal bones, if you know about the technique sutraneti, that we put a thread from our nose and we bring it out from our thread, or we bring it out from our throat, from our mouth, from our oral cavity. So putting it from the nasal cavity, bringing it out from the oral cavity, that means the thread goes in between the inferal nasal concha and nasal bones over here, and it can bring it out in between oral cavity. So there are these 2 bones present inside the nostrils, which are moving towards the posterior end, like palatin bone. At the center, you can see vomer, and at the top, you can see 2 hard nasal bones. Okay, cleared up till here? So if you will count whatever the number of bones which we have written, you will get the number 14 number of bones.
Yeah. Clear.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Let me adjust it. Now, we will see the next bone. From the axial skeletal system, now we have seen the head section. Now, we will see the next section, that is the neck section. How many bones you will find in your neck region? There is 1, single bone in the neck region. That bone is known as hyoid bone. That bone is known as hyoid bone. We'll just give you the names here in your course. We'll just give you the name and the location of the bone. I will not draw the diagram for each and every bone here. So hyoid bone, whatever I will speak, please note it down. I will try to dictate it slowly. So hyoid bone is the only floating bone in your whole body. Write down this important thing. So this is what? Floating bone. We can call this as a floating bone in our whole body. So only there is one floating bone that is known as hyoid bone. That means this bone is not connected to any other bone in our whole body. The rest of all the bones in our whole body are connected to other bones. At least there is one connection between one bone to the other bone, one bone to the other bone. They are all connected with other bones. But the hyoid bone, which is placed above the thyroid gland, above the thyroid cartilage or thyroid gland, we can say, where it is placed? Above the windpipe. Above the windpipe. We have studied respiratory system, right? With 𝐂𝐥𝐬𝐬, we have studied with the respiratory system. So I will show it over there, where is the hyoid bone. So if this is your windpipe, that means your trachea. This is your larynx, your voice box, the first two rings of the trachea. And this is your thyroid gland. For example, this is your butterfly shape thyroid gland. So this hyoid bone is located over the thyroid gland. This hyoid bone is located over the thyroid gland, above the windpipe, which will allow our windpipe trachea to keep it open continuously, so that the flow of air will pass through the windpipe and the lungs. Even we take oxygen in, and while we breathe out carbon dioxide. So continuously the opening of the windpipe is due to our hyoid bone. It also holds the muscles of our tongue behind at the posterior end. So these two functions are being done by this hyoid bone, which is located above the thyroid cartilage. Thyroid cartilage is located at the outside covering of the voice box, that is larynx. If you will connect it with the respiratory system, if you will check the notes of the respiratory system, you will get a rough idea about it. Where is the larynx, voice box? Outside, this is the thyroid gland, the covering of the larynx. And this is the hyoid bone. Yes,
Sir, you are saying this hyoid bone is located above this thyroid gland. So
yes.
it's on the gland, that's why it's floating.
On the gland, it is floating. No, it is floating because it is not connected with the bone. That means it is connected with the muscles of the tongue. It is holding of the muscles, not any bone. The floating means it is not connected like we have these all the bones connected with the other bones. But the hyoid bone, there is not any bone over here. So there are muscles which are holding this bone, not any other bone connected in our neck. So the muscles in our neck, yeah. And
okay, means it's, I was like floating means it's just floating like this. There is no muscle or nothing. I thought like that. So okay.
So floating means we have the connection with the muscles, connect not with the bone.
Okay.
Could you please repeat the other function of this bone? Because the one is connection with tongue, and another one with the exchange of carbon dioxide. Did I understand right?
Another function is to keep this windpipe. If you will see on the board, I have shown you the windpipe. So to keep this windpipe open, to allow the air enter and exit our lungs is the other function of the hyoid bone. So to keep our windpipe open and also to hold the muscles of the tongue towards the posterior side, back side.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have one single hyoid bone. Okay, I have written one. So before in the head section, how many bones we have seen? 28 maybe. So 14 bones in our facial skeleton, 6 bones in our ears, and 8 bones in our cranium. And in the neck section, we have just seen one bone. So total 29 bones only we have studied. From how many bones? Total?
106.
Yes, 20. Can we move further now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The concept should be clear. Okay, just let me know if the concept is clear. We will move quickly. The third one. So now I will write it down over here. Vertebral column.
Sir, just a minute. One small question.
Yes.
For the neck region, you said there is one bone, hyoid bone. But what about the behind? Acha, we are saying axial skeleton system.
Yep.
Okay, not the back side of the neck, right?
We will also see the back side of the neck, but that back side of the neck, we will see vertebral column.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So behind, there is no separate bone in our neck. So there is back side. We have the neck region also. We have the upper back region also, and we have the lower back region. So all this back side, instead of giving you separately the neck region, vertebral column is one single spine we have, which covers all the back neck, upper back, and so we will see this now.
Okay.
The most important part in your whole body while we practice yoga, the second most important part, I will say, the second most important part to focus in your body is the vertebral column while we practice yoga. And we need to keep our back and spine straight throughout the practice of yoga in the physical body. If we will work on the physical body, then and then only we will be able to work on the subtle body. And on the subtle body, that means our astral body, which is not visible to our eyes. On the spine, all the chakras are being placed. All the major chakras are being placed. So we have the root chakra, sacrum chakra, solar plexus, heart, along with the throat, the third eye, and the crown. I am showing the third eye chakra even pointing at my back of the head. So these all the chakras which are being located in our subtle body on our spine are on behind. So not in the front. Heart on not keeping my arm on my chest. Even solar plexus on my abdomen. So all the chakras are on our spine in our subtle body. If we will be able to keep our back and spine straight in the practice of yoga, then we will be able to raise the level of awareness, to raise the level of consciousness, to raise this Kundalini energy. We will be able to make it through the chakras. So our consciousness is what? can reach through the spine, if it will reach up one day completely throughout the spine, that is what we will start self-realizing ourselves, who we are in our real life. So that is what achieving the enlightenment, the great yogis who have achieved it in their life. So reaching this level of consciousness through the spine from the bottom to the crown chakra is what? Enlightenment. That is what? The first stage of yoga. People think that that is the end of the yoga, but their self-realization will begin, where the yoga will begin. Whatever we are just doing at the moment, Ashtanga, Vinyasa, Hatha, Yin, or whatever we have been learning, this is just the preparation for the yoga. The spiritual yoga is completely different. Vertebral column, now we will come back here with the science. With the skeletal system, we have the first region, or we can say the vertebral column at the posterior region of the neck. So the first region of the vertebral column is known as cervical region. Cervical region, where you find the 7 vertebrae. Where you find the 7 vertebrae. So starting from the medulla oblongata is our small brain here behind. So below the medulla oblongata, below this, our vertebral column begins. And if we will count the cervical section, that is the neck section. So like people who have the problem with the spondylitis have the problem with the cervical region of the neck. So this cervical region has 7 vertebrae. Okay, if we will count from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how we should know in practical, this is all theoretical on the board, how we should know that where is the 7th vertebra, where does my 7th vertebra lie? So if you will bend your neck, even if I cannot see you, just bend your neck a little bit down, both of you, or the people who will watch the recording, and try to put your arm on the end of your neck region at the back. You will find a big bone. So you will find the big bone at the beginning of the upper back. That big bone at the center, which is popped up, is your 7th vertebra from the cervical series. Okay. Yes, no, you found it?
Yes.
Yes. So that is your 7th vertebra from your cervical series. From the 7 vertebrae, that is the 7th one. All that vertebrae are denoted from C1 to C7. C1, C2, C3, C4, C7 active. So this is your C7 vertebra. If you will point or touch it over here, you will find a big popped bone out. Now, the next region below the cervical region is known as thoracic region. And how many vertebrae are been there to the thoracic region? 12. All the vertebrae in the thoracic region are denoted by the letter T. So from T1 to T12. So from T1 to T12. Cervical region C1 to C7. Thoracic region T1 to T12. Now, what we will see? The next region, that is the lower back region. So this is your middle back section. From the upper back and middle back, you will have T1 to T12 vertebrae. The lower back region will have lumbar. We call it as lumbar. So this is your neck section behind. This is your upper back and middle back. And this is your lower back section, the lumbar region, where you find the number of vertebrae, 5. So these 5 vertebrae are denoted by the letter L, lumbar L, L1 to L5. Okay. So we have the cervical 7 vertebrae, thoracic 12 vertebrae, and lumbar 5 vertebrae. Clear? In our spine. The rest 2 vertebrae are known as sacrum and coccyx. So the next vertebrae are known as sacrum, where our sacral chakra is located. That is our second chakra, Swadhisthana chakra. So that region is known as sacrum. We have one single sacrum, and we have the coccyx. Coccyx means our tailbone. We call coccyx as our tailbone. So we have one single coccyx. Sacrum and coccyx bones are fused together. So sacrum and coccyx bones are fused together. So some scientific texts count sacrum as one single bone, but there are 4 to 5 fused bones in the sacrum region. There are 5 fused bones in the sacrum region, but these fused bones are connected like all, are counted as one single bone. But there are these 5 fused bones in the sacrum region. Similarly, our coccyx, that means our tailbone, where our root chakra resides, our Mooladhara chakra lies, is also one single bone, but it is also made up of fused bones. So this is counted as one in the scientific text. Some scientific texts count these bones as 4 fused bones. So it makes as one single bone, tailbone, at the base of our spine, at the bottom of our spine, inside our pelvic, where there are 4 fused bones, which makes one single tailbone. Okay. Got it?
Yes.
So the total number of bones, we will count one coccyx. Instead of counting 4 fused bones, we will count one sacrum. Instead of counting 5 fused bones, we will count 5 lumbar, 12 thoracic, and 7 cervical. So how many? We have 26 bones in our vertebral column. Correct. 7 plus 12 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1. You can count it and let me know. Till then, I will erase it. Got it?
Yes.
Sir,
One
my
important thing.
connection was.
Hello?
Sir. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Now I'm hearing.
Okay, sir, actually I got disconnected just for 2 seconds for when you said bend your neck down, touch to your chin, and what you said after that. Only that only I missed that part. I got disconnected for 2 seconds.
Okay. So I will repeat it. So now again repeat, bend your neck down. So here I was talking about the first section that time, cervical section. So we have the cervical section in our neck. So 7 vertebrae are being present in our neck. So where do you find this 7th vertebra? Where will you find the number 7 vertebra. When you will bend your neck down and try to touch your big bone at the starting of your upper back here, you will see at the center, at the bottom of the neck, at the back, a big bone.
Yes.
So that is your number 7th vertebra, number 7.
Okay, got it.
So this is easy for you to remember.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have some birds around you?
Yes. You can hear.
A lot of birds I can see. You sitting in
Yeah.
nature, I think.
Yeah.
I have to hear these sounds in the morning.
In Pune, only one location which is in the heart of the nature.
Oh, are you in Pune?
Yeah, Bhosle Nagar area.
Okay. So we have this cervical sections and all these bones. Here, I will erase this now and I will proceed more further now.
Okay.
So the number 4 from the axial skeletal system here is the ribs and sternum. Sternum is our chest bone in the center. We have only one single sternum. If you will see over here at the center of the chest, where is our sternum. If you will tap on the sternum right over here, there is one single bone. So to the sternum, there are the ribs connected to the sternum. So how many ribs you will find in your body that you, yes, Magda?
I don't know, 12?
12 on each side. How you should remember that I will tell. You are right, the number is 12, but the total is 24. So 12 ribs on each side. So we have left side and right side. We have two lungs. So the ribs protect the vital organs, lungs. How you should remember this? Because in our thoracic region, in our back and spine, can you tell me how many vertebrae are been there in the thoracic region?
12.
Yes. So these ribs are being connected to the thoracic region at the back, all the ribs, and they are coming in the front to the right side and to the left side from the thoracic region of the spine. Okay. So we have in total 24 ribs. So we have the total number of 24 ribs, where the first 14 ribs are known as true ribs. The first 14 ribs are known as the true ribs. The next 6 ribs are known as the false ribs. And the next 4 ribs are known as false floating ribs. Just to let you know, the true ribs, false ribs, and false floating ribs. So there are like this 12 each side, total are 24. The true ribs are connected to the cartilage, to the sternum. So sternum has the cartilage, that is the connective tissue, which allows these ribs to connect in the front and which allows these ribs to connect on the back to the first 7 vertebrae of the thoracic region. Then the next 6 ribs, so 3 on each side, they don't have their own cartilage in the front. They are connected in the back, for the next thoracic region from 8, 9, and 10 to the thoracic vertebrae on the back, but in the front, they are not connected to their own cartilage. Like we can say, they don't have their own house. They are living in the house of the true ribs. So they are using the cartilage of the true ribs. So the ribs number from 8, 9, and 10 on each side, you will get the false ribs because they don't have their own cartilage connected to the sternum, where true rib has their own cartilage connected to their sternum, have their own house of connection to the sternum. Then the last four ribs at the bottom, which I have written down, are false floating. I am not using the word floating, only floating. They are floating, but they are not completely floating. That means they are connected somewhere. Where they are connected to the back. All these 24 ribs are connected to the 12 vertebrae of the thoracic region at the back. But the last four ribs means two ribs on each side on the bottom we have that ribs are floating in the front but not in the back. They are connected to the back to the T11 and T12 thoracic vertebrae. But in the front, they are floating, two on each side, which makes four. These ribs are floating, false ribs, not completely floating, which can be also removed by the people just to bring their body in shape and to be more flexible or to be more, some people depends upon their own desires to look attractive, or they have their personal reasons. So even if these people remove their ribs, if you have heard some people who have removed their ribs, many celebrities in the US, and they do find attractive with their body, with the flexibility and with the, we can say, the structure of the body for the woman as well. But this may damage their nervous system. So the central nervous system may do get damaged, or they may feel the nervous weakness throughout their life in the future. So they are on the medicine if they remove these false floating ribs as well. The concept was not that. The concept here is to see how is the number of the ribs, how are they mentioned. So there are the 24 ribs and one sternum. So total ribs and sternum here are 25. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Clear everything about the ribs and sternum, the concept, the basic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now we will end up the class over here today, and we will see and proceed further with the appendicular skeletal. So we have seen the axial skeletal, that means the bones in our head, in our neck, in our back and spine, and in our torso. That means in our chest with the sternum and the rib in one axis. Tomorrow we will begin with the appendicular skeleton.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
there are 32 or 33 vertebrae.
33 vertebrae.
Then this count is less.
If we will count the sacrum and coccyx, five fused bones of the sacrum and 4 fused bones of the coccyx, then there will be 33 vertebrae.
Yeah.
But if we will count one single sacrum and one single coccyx, then there will be 26 vertebrae. And if we will say that there are 33 vertebrae, then we will have to also say there are 213 number of bones in our whole body. But We have mentioned in the beginning that there are 206 number of bones in our whole body. So we
Yeah.
have to count the number of vertebrae, 26. That means we have to count one single sacrum and one single coccyx. Okay, the number
Okay.
also changes here.
Okay. And some people say there are 32 vertebrae. Some people say there are 33 vertebrae. So this count changes according to the number of fused bones in coccyx. Like there is
So,
a confusion whether it's 3 or 4.
yes. No,
Something
there
like
are 4
that.
fused bones in the coccyx. There are 4 fused bones. The people can say many things, but the science is the one. We cannot change the science. So we have the
Okay.
4 fused bones in the tailbone.
Okay.
Many people has different mentality here. So
Okay.
we can change the philosophy, but the science we cannot change what we can see.
Yeah.
We will end the session with one Om chant. So keeping your back and spine straight and eyes closed, take a long breath and chant Om one time. Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much. And Namaste, Hari Om.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Sir,
so much.
I have one small question.
Yeah.
Miss, in the management team, there is Vivek Tyagi.
I don't know.
Hello.
Yes, I don't know him.
Because I'm not able to contact any management team because I'm not getting the access for the recorded session. No idea.
Yeah, seriously no idea about the management team, and so you will have one philosophy teacher. She will teach the philosophy. Maybe she will help you regarding this because she in
Okay,
touch with the
fine.
management more than me.
Okay, fine. Okay. Because I'm not
Yeah,
able to contact any of them from
I
Yoga Himalaya.
understand. I understand the problem, but I cannot have that solution for that problem.
Okay, sure. Thank you. I will ask philosophy
Yeah,
teacher. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so
Bye.
much, Shitaji. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you, Magda, and everyone. See you tomorrow.